Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to my weekly evening live stream, Communications from Home. Welcome, everybody. Everyone who's with me through Facebook chat, thank you for being here. And all those that are joining us through the YouTube chat, thank you for joining us too. You know, it's our partners at Be Live TV.tv, Be Live. Our partners are, they're the ones who help us to be able to do the simulcast, and we love it. We haven't really run into too many glitches with it, which is always good when you're dealing with technical stuff, right? So welcome, everybody. It's good to be back with you since I had to cancel last week. And this week, we're get to be together. I missed you guys. I did. When, showtime rolled around, 7 o'clock my time, and I wasn't with you guys, it's like, separation anxiety, right? So I'm just so happy to be here with you this evening and to be able to share with you about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is spiritual seekers. And it's because of you, one of the many reasons actually, but the primary reason was to start our monthly spiritual magazine called Star Nations Magazine. It was because of the spiritual seekers that you are our readership, and also the people who join us for our live stream shows too. Because most of the contributing writers for the magazine, most of them, not all of them, are live stream show hosts too. And they're all spiritual teachers, and they too are spiritual seekers. So we're all in it together, right? So, hey Rob, you have an open mic. I can just hear you shuffling your papers around is all. Rob is my producer, a producer extraordinaire. He's also the person who created my intro and outro music. I love my intro and outro music. When it's playing, I'm back here kind of rocking to it. And so thank you, Rob. And let's see, what else? It's Tuesday, September 22nd. Can you believe it? And it's the fall equinox too. Did you guys do any kind of ceremony or celebration for it? Mine was pretty quiet. Mine was pretty quiet, because most of you know that I'm dealing with some sciatica stuff. And so it's kind of low keyed and very slow moving. And so it was just, tobacco ceremony by myself, and just really kind of being grateful and appreciative for everything that Grandmother Earth does for us. And also, celebrating the nearly balanced light and dark, right? So here we are on fall equinox up here in the northern hemisphere. And for those that are joining us in the southern hemisphere, happy spring equinox to you. So yay, we're here together. We're here together. Rob, let's say hi to a few people in the live chat. Rochelle's here, yay. And thank you for grounding. So appreciate that. I'm going to turn down the sound of my phone. I'm so glad you're here with us, Rochelle. And it looked like you and Deb had a really good road trip. Yeah, you had fun. Thank you for sharing the pictures and all of that on Facebook with us, because we were able to keep track of you a little bit. So I'm so glad you're here. Deborah's here too. Hello, Deborah. I hope you're feeling better, doing better. I've been meaning to call you, but you know what? You know what it's like when you have to do that self-care stuff and it's taking up a good portion of your day. I'm either doing my stretches or sitting there with ice on or something. And but I've been thinking about you. Deborah, for those of you who don't know, Deborah fell off a ladder and broke her ankle. And so she's on the mend, but you know what it's like to be stationary for a few weeks. So I'm so glad you could join us, Deborah. Deborah also helps me with the magazine. Yeah, she helps us with the subscriptions and all kinds of stuff with the magazine. So hi, Deborah. Good to have you here. And Rob is sending greetings. That's our producer from. It's got to be either Facebook land or or YouTube land. One of the two. There you go, YouTube. There he is coming from Facebook. Yeah, he does that for us, so you could test it out. Amy says, "Hi, Neshi. Glad you're doing well enough to be here tonight." Yeah, me too. Me too. And I have to say that it's a happy diversion to be here and to share with you about Spiritual Seekers and the magazine. And so we get to spend an hour together where we can take our minds off from those other things like pain. So, Amy, good to have you here with us this evening, too. Amy and I go way back, way, way back. It's good to have you here, Amy. It's always good to see you in the house. I did the Albin Alfred ritual. I guess you did. Thank you. Judy's here too. Hello to you too, pretty lady. Glad you're better. I am better. I'm not 100%, but I am better. For those of you who ever had to deal with sciatica, and did you ever notice when you're going through something like that, you drop things all the time and you're kind of looking at it when it's on the floor and you're going, should I try to pick it up? How low can I go to be able to get it? Or should I just leave it? And so, yeah, I was able to pick stuff up off the floor today. So Judy, that's a good day, right? Yeah, I think so. So thanks for asking. And thank you guys, all of you who sent prayers and good wishes to me last week. I felt it. It's so nice to be able to have community that you can rely on for that, right? So good to have you here, Judy. Yeah, and Deb says she is doing good. She's getting better. Good for you. Good for you. It's not easy not to be able to. She has to keep her weight off from her. I remember, was it your right foot? I don't remember. But she can't bear weight on it for 8 weeks. Can you believe that? 8 weeks. I know. Ouch. Rob says that's the autumnal equinox ritual of the Druids. So there you go. You know what? Now this isn't Druid, but you know what Paul does every year? Paul's my husband. He takes a raw egg, and each equinox, he stands it up or tries to get it to stand up on the small end, standing up, no props or anything. And it should be able to stand because of the equal or the near equal energy, right? So, yeah, he and his sister, older sister, do that together. She's in Washington State, and they try to race to see who's going to get it done. Yay. Judy says, that's not fun. I'm dealing with Achilles. Ooh, ouch, that's another owie. Now, doesn't it make you think, Judy, about, it's in our physical bodies, and yet here we are, because it's also emotional, mental, and spiritual, right? And so, anything to do with the feet and the legs is about forward movement, right? And slowing us down, because I don't know about you, Judy, but it certainly has slowed me down. And it's on my right leg, so it slows me down. That's for certain. So prayers to you too, Judy, for feeling better and feeling stronger. Optimal health, right? Optimal health. Yeah. All right. So let's get to it. Every month on the 10th, we publish the Star Nations magazine. And in that publication, the contributing writers select from a group of topics each month to write about. And in that selection, sometimes I never know how it's all going to kind of gel and fit together and that sort of thing until we start doing the preparation for the layout. And I get to read all of the articles and select the ones that will have their titles appear on the cover. And then you can kind of start seeing the pattern starting to form. And by the time we get to the final edit of the PDF, the entire energy field, the feeling around the magazine is completely intact, and you can actually see it, sense it, touch it, kind of thing. And so for me, it's a very creative time. And it's a way that we every one of us who's involved with the magazine, it's a way for us to be able to use our gifts and to have that creative energy. And we get to do that every month for you guys. And so here's this month, the September issue. And you can imagine there's some equinox information in this one as well. But I want to show you and share with you the highlighted articles that appear in the September magazine and give you some of the background, the backstory to this particular issue. Yeah, this issue, it feels like it was such a long time ago since we published, actually, because time goes so fast, doesn't it? Is that Paul had just gone back to work from his surgery that he had in July. He was off for about 5 weeks. Mom was doing better, with her grief and how it affected her physical pain, and so things were kind of settling down and kind of smoothing out a bit. And then my sciatica decided it was going to show up. Now, I hadn't dealt with this since 1998. I've only gone through it once and never to this degree. And so, yeah. So it was so good to be able to rely on a team that helps with the layout. And that is our teams. I call them the elves because the name of their business is Elm Publishing. And I call them my elves. And let me tell you, the elves stepped in and they were so helpful in the layout of this particular issue and also some of the prep work for it. So let's get to it. Let's show the cover, okay? And the cover of this magazine. Now, it's all about the equinox. And the thing is that the photo that I found for this particular cover was all about balance. And you can kind of see the sunlight shining into the rocks, right? Well, this particular picture, in a landscape mode, when you use it really large, you can get it as large as you possibly can, and not lose any of the integrity of the picture. Well, Angelica, one of the elves, noticed, and let me tell you, she is such a whiz. We're going to call her a wizard at Adobe Photoshop. Not Photoshop, Adobe InDesign. And she's been using Adobe InDesign for over 30 years, right? And so she knows that language inside and out. And what she did was she did a wraparound cover for this particular issue. And what is that? That means that the back cover of the issue is the rest of this picture. And it looks so good. We have never used a wraparound picture for any other issue. And so you might see that more in the future, depending on what kind of pictures that we get to use. So, and of course, in the background is the ocean. I really like this picture. So we have on the cover this month, Minnie Kansman's article, Active Power Ceremony. Tony Charrette's article about Native American Day 2020 welcomes you. And we also have Karen Crowley-Suzani's article, The Sun's Role in Spirituality. Wait till I tell you about that one. And we also have Sharon Rosenblum's article, High Holy Days 2020. And the second part of the series that I'm writing, the Eldership series, and about the Rookie Elder. As a bonus, we also have Ortrun Franklin's article, Coming Home. Okay, so I'm going to share with you about each one of those articles and a little bit about the backstory about each of them. Okay, so that is the cover, and I'm sure you guys have seen the cover out there in Facebook land or Instagram or Pinterest or something like that, because it's been out there since the 10th of September. So Rob, let's start with High Holy Days by Sharon. Yeah. See, Sharon, I don't know if you guys know this, but Sharon is belongs to the Jewish faith. She and her husband, her entire family. And so she is our resident expert when it comes to Jewish holidays and the mysticism around those holidays. And she I actually found this picture too to go with it. What I love about Sharon when she writes about these kinds of topics is she always brings us into her family and how they celebrate the Jewish holidays. It isn't just a educational piece, but it's a more about how do we do this? What does it look like in my family in modern day, right? And so, and she always shares with us a recipe, something that she is serving for that particular holiday, or that particular season, right? And so this one's no different. She did share with us a holiday berry cake recipe, and I believe it's gluten free, if I remember right. I know. And see, Sharon, cooking and baking is one of her great loves. And so what she does is she takes a lot of the recipes and she converts them into gluten free and or low sugar. Okay. And on occasion, she will give us the decadent, the decadent ones that has all the real sugar and the real flour and blah blah blah, and the ones that you only have a bite of every once in a while, but they're so good. So in this particular article, Sharon shares about the Rosh Hashanah, and that began at sunset September 18th. This is the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and it's always a time of festivities and gratitude. She shares about the high holy days, the Jewish meaning, and the celebration of this holiday as one of those high holy days, right? And she goes into there's the horn in the picture. You can kind of see the horn, right? That there's a time during the celebration at temple where the horn will actually be blown. Yeah. And so I hope you guys enjoy this article and the information about one of the high holy days for the Jewish holiday, Rosh Hashanah, and also the berry cake recipe. And I tell you what, if I could, I would make that cake because it looks so yummy. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Sharon actually lives in Wisconsin. She lives on the east side of the state. She's about 3 hours east of me, southeast of me, and so. But I wish I could get down there whenever she's baking or cooking. So, yeah, or either that or have her send it up this way, one of the two. So enjoy this particular article by Sharon Rosenblum, who's also one of my sisters. We've known each other for years and years. All right, and then we're going to move on to Act of Power Ceremony by Minnie Kansman. Don't you love this photo? Oh my gosh. The Act of Power Ceremony is all about the equinox, the autumn equinox, and celebrating it. What Minnie does in a lot of her articles is that the pictures tell the story. And it's a very feminine energy way of sharing, right? And so this article is no different. She's got some really beautiful pictures in there, especially about the past ceremonies that she has done using the Act of Power ceremony. And she shares with us where she got that from many years ago, and how she uses it. She says that she shares with us a ceremony she learned from author Lynn Andrews. Have you ever read one of Lynn Andrews' books? Well, this one came out of one of her books, and she says that the ceremony brings you consciously to connect with the earth and with yourself. Minnie shares with you her experience with the ceremony and how it has changed and evolved over the years. So when she first started using it, she said it was kind of like look at the text of the book, and oh yeah, we're supposed to do this piece, And after how many years? It's got to be at least a decade or more of using this particular ceremony. It has evolved into something that Minnie shares in her article that it's kind of like looking back at her notes and that sort of thing from the time of using the ceremony is almost like a journal, and can see how she's grown from equinox to equinox. That the ceremony helps her to do that as well. So if you are looking for a ceremony to use that you haven't tried yet, or you're interested in reading about a ceremony that you're not familiar with, this might be your kind of article. And enjoy the pictures that Minnie has included with her article as well. Yeah, it's good stuff. Minnie is very well known for leading ceremony. I don't know if you guys knew that. She goes to the Great Lakes Retreat, annual retreat in Olivet, Michigan. She's been going there for 30 years, and so she assists with ceremony a lot there, or leads ceremony. And yeah, now I've been there with her a few times. Now this past July, I think it's in July. Yeah, July is when they usually have it. Yeah, the very first time they had to cancel it, you know. So, but she's really well known for her ceremonies. Yeah. Okay. Next is The Sun's Role in Spirituality by Karen Crowley Suzani. Did you know that Karen lives in France? Did you know that? She used to reside in Colorado, and then moved to France. She got married and moved to France. And she is considered a master builder. And what does that mean? It has all to do with sacred geometry and the ancient sacred sites, and also how to do the building of mandalas, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I've interviewed her at least 3 or 4 times. Fascinating information. And this article is no different. Her column is called Earth Energies. And the title of her article, The Sun's Role in Spirituality. And she really does, I think, a really good job at leading us through what the sun is meant for in our spirituality. She says that as we move toward the equinox energy, it's important to remember our connection to the sun. She shares with it that the sun is the immense power and has immense power and energy. The sun has intertwined with our spirituality down through the ages, and it's very ancient, since time began practically, and humans, would rise to the sun and they'd go to bed with the sun, right? Because there was no electricity. And at one time there wasn't even fire. And so the sun really was the only light that was available to our ancestors. So if you would like to have insight into how the sun relates to your spirituality, this particular article is really, really good about that. So good that she includes chakras and how sunlight and how it tracks, right? Tracks through ancient sites, sacred sites, how that is all pulled together. And I found it fascinating article. Yeah. Okay, Rob, we're going to pause here just for a second and let's get caught up with everybody in the chat. Okay? Judy says, oh, yeah, it's been a rough couple of weeks. Oh, I know. Those weeks turn into months, don't they? I've actually been at this since January. It's a long time. Yeah, so I hope you're getting better, Judy. Deborah says, my son is here from Dubuque, so I'll catch the replay. Okay, it's the left foot. Oh, that's right. They had to medevac her to, I forget what, it wasn't Madison. I know it didn't take her to the Madison hospital. I don't think. It was a different hospital. I don't know. Maybe it was La Crosse. Yeah, it was bad. It was a compound fracture. So go have fun with your son. Tell him hi. And catch us on the replay. I'm glad you could stop by for a little while. Rochelle says, shofar is the name of the horn. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's right. I couldn't remember the name of it, Rochelle. Yes, shofar. And I'd say a couple of years ago, in that article that Sharon had written for us, she actually found a recording, a video of the sound of the horn and the I want to call it a chant, but it's not really that chant that goes with it. Yeah, it was fascinating, fascinating information, and to hear that horn, it really does. I think reach that part of us that recognizes that ancientness of it. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that, Rochelle. It's a good one. How do you order? That's a good question, Judy. Thank you for asking that. Yes. Thank you, Rob, for putting up the link. And he also put it into the comments. Basically, what you do is you click on that link, and it will take you to the partners that we have at issue.com. And at issue.com, you can order your magazine as a digital, which means you can see it on any one of your devices, phone, tablet, laptop, and yeah, and you can get it as a digital, or you can download it as a PDF, right? And so that's what you can do from Issue. Now, if you want to do a print on demand copy, then you can go to our website, Star Nations organization, click on the magazine button, and then you're going to see both Issue and our other partners over at MagCloud. And at MagCloud is where you can order it as a print on demand. At MagCloud, you can also get it as a PDF or as a web view. What's a web viewer? Okay, so some people don't even like to download anything to their hard drive. And so the web viewer means that your copy, your digital copy, is saved in the cloud for you. And so anytime you want to retrieve it from your MagCloud account, you can do that and just have them store it for you. And so yeah, and so you can do either one. Either one of the partners will take really good care of you. And yeah, so if you like it digital, that's how we do here. I also order the print on demand, but my copy is for a completely different reason. Mine is more about looking at it, editing it, re-editing it, see what we want to change, what really worked really well, and say, wow, let's keep that one. you know. So, but however you like to read your material, we can do that for you. Those of you that like to hold it in your hands, print on demand. Right? Okay. Thanks for asking that, Judy. Oh, and it's really reasonable. One issue is $2.99. Just $2.99. You get a lot of information for $2.99. But you can also order a year's subscription, which is $24.99, which is still a reasonable cost, right? And that's for the digital version. Unfortunately, the print on demand we don't have as a subscription. You have to get that individually. And we try to keep the number of pages under 60 so that your print copies are under $20, right? Yeah. So we try really hard to have that done for you so it doesn't get too expensive. Now, what some people do, you might want to think about this, is the group of people will get together to order the print copy. Small group, right? And one person will order it, and then they'll read it and pass it on to the next person. And in their group, the next month, the next person will order it and do the same thing. They'll read it and then pass it on, right? So so they're sharing the cost in it. They're sharing the cost in it. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. It's kind of like a book club in a way, isn't it? Kind of cool. All right. Now, Rob says, to this day, time is directly measured by the sun. Yes, it is. And let me tell you, Karen knows this inside and out. Did you know that she was also an airline pilot? She was an Air Force pilot and then became an airline pilot. And it was as she was flying over the land, over the earth, that she was seeing these sacred sites from the air. And she couldn't just let it go. And so that's how she became involved with the sacred sites. And I know Karen through, we share a teacher, Denise Lynn, and she studied with her for feng shui, and so did I. And so that's how I know Karen. And Karen took her feng shui to the sacred sites path. And so, yeah, that's good stuff. Thanks for that, Rob. Yes, we still do. We still do. Got to look at the sun and say, what time is it? It's about noon. That's the easy one, right? Yep. Okay. We're going to move on to the eldership series. I've had so much fun with this series. You know, this started out as a series on my show here. I think that was in April, if I remember right. And we took the series. I had listened to the books by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, and I thought to myself, oh, man, we really need to talk about this eldership. And so I started the series as live stream shows, and then I took those live stream shows and I started writing about each one of those. And so this month it's about the rookie elder. And I also include the link to the live stream show recorded as well. And so this one was written when we were talking about Native American Day in September, right? And for this particular article, I included Native American women because I wanted to get a quote from a Native American woman other than myself. And it was not that easy to find. I had to take some time to do some research on it and looking for, and I know I made it a little bit more complicated than I needed to, but I was looking for a Native American who was an elder, who was female, nearly present day. In other words, she not necessarily alive, but born in modern time. Okay. Because I wanted to be able to show how Native American elders, especially women, are still around today that were not a part of history or only in history, right? And so that was one of the intentions for this particular article, and to use the topic about the Native American Day. So yeah, so it was about the Native American female elder. So the rookie elder is how we can best make our way through the phrase. Okay, the rookie elder is someone who, and it's not linear age. Okay, it's not a linear age. So it's the rookie elder who doesn't quite realize they're an elder yet, when they have the capacity to be an elder, but they haven't really claimed it. Or they're kind of tentative about it because maybe they don't want to get it connected to linear age. Okay. So the rookie elder is a very unique individual. And I found this picture because I like the bandana color, but more importantly, I love the color in her hair, right? Because just because you're an elder doesn't mean that you're not young at heart, or that you view life through a youthful way, right? You're applying your wisdom as an elder, or you're looking for that application of your wisdom. So I really enjoyed writing this particular piece. In fact, when I wrote this piece, we were on a respite weekend in August, and I was sitting in our RV, which, by the way, the name of it is Jorge's Casita, George's little house, her dog. And I was sitting at the dinette table working, and Paul was out with George, and it was quiet. And so I started writing this article, and I just loved the way it came together. And when I found Faith Spotted Eagle's quote, I knew that this was going to really come together well. I'm going to read her quote out loud, if that's okay with you. She says, "In the old days, they said that you were measured by your generosity, not how much money you earned. You were measured by how you could feed the people, how you could house them, how you could take care of them. Elder Faith Spotted Eagle. Yeah, she's part of the Osheti Sakoi, which is the Great Sioux Nation, and she is an activist. She is a water protector, a protector of sacred sites, and yeah, she is quite a lady. Quite a lady, and I have a lot of respect for her. She was one of the ladies that got arrested during in 2016. She was in her full regalia, white buckskin dress, and she was at, I think, a federal building. And what she took with her was part of the Constitution that states about treaty rights, about the treaties. And so, yeah, she got arrested, but still, she was an elder that was really taking her wisdom literally into the federal courthouse. I have a lot of respect for her. So I hope you like this article. It doesn't matter whether you're Native American or not. It is really about the rookie elder. And if you feel like you kind of fit that in a way, you can read more about it, and maybe you'll find yourself in there somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of Native American Day in September, did you even know that there was an extra something for Native Americans in September? Did you know that? Yeah, crazy. But Tony Charrette's article, I found this picture for his article. I just loved it because you can't really tell necessarily that it's modern day until you really look closer, and then you can see in the background, modern people in modern dress. So I really wanted to help show that we're just not in history. And I love the way the elves laid this out. They call that ghosting in the background, where you have the image kind of again in the background. I just love that, and how it kind of bleeds over into the text area. I don't know. It's one of those things as a publisher, that I saw this and I just wow, I love this. Love this picture. All right, so Tony Charrette. Tony writes under Sacred Masculine column, and Tony is an Ojibwa man. He is Anishinaabe, is what they say in their own language, and he lives in a city, so he is urban native, and that is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is where he lives. And he wrote about Native American Day 2002 welcomes you. It's a pretty interesting article because he states some things in here that because he contacted me. He goes, I really want to write it this way, but if you feel like it's too much, I will try to soften it, and I didn't. I said go for it, because you need to speak your truth, right? And so what he wrote about was he takes this little known American observance called Native American Day and shares why this type of commemoration is important. Native American people may seem somewhat mysterious, given that Native Americans are the lowest census number of all groups. It's not surprising to find that they take all opportunities to deepen their culture, expand their language skills through socializing, and uphold life's very sacred gift. And he actually talks about Columbus in this article and colonization. And I think he did it really well, where it's not, I don't think it's accusatory or divisive or anything like that. It's just really, it's not just educational either. It is that, but it's so much more. And if you really want to find out about modern day Native perspective, I think this is a really good article. It really is. And Tony is a very spiritual man. He's a two-spirit, and he's very connected to his intuition. He does readings for people. I don't know if you knew that. He does do readings. Yeah, and he's hilarious. He's got such a sense of humor too. He does. All right. So, Rob, if you could bring up the last few comments, just so that we stay current with everybody in the chat. Robinson, congrats on being the chairwoman of Social Distance POW. Oh, thank you. I was going to mention it and I completely forgot. Thank you, Rob. Yeah, they asked me to be on the board. I think that was in August, July or August. And we had a board meeting on last week, Friday, video conference. We Zoomed it. And yeah, and so we were talking about positions within the board and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, they asked me if I would be the first chairperson for them because it's a brand new board. And yeah, we talked about it and I accepted. And I bet you some of you guys are rolling your eyes. How is she going to do that? She's so busy already. Yeah, I'm making time for it. And also the vice chair, Donna. Um, Donna and I are going to make a really good team, and the other board members are really good too. They're very artistic people, and so we're there to support the co-founders and everything that they've done with that particular. It's over 200,000 people now. That social powwow, distance powwow group, and they cover 100 different countries, and yeah. It's big. So we're there to support the co-founders and to support the community, and I'm looking forward to it. And so thanks, Rob, for mentioning it. I appreciate that. It's going to be fun. I guess I did. Yes, you did, Judy. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. And she says, I have 2 granddaughters who are Potawatomi. Really? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Wow. So which band? Do you know which band that they're in? Because there's 9 bands of the Potawatomi Nation. Mine is the Prairie Band. And if I think you're in Michigan, right, Judy? Are you in Michigan? So it'd be interesting which band they get their ancestry from, their blood from. Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you're interested in a modern day perspective of Native American Day, enjoy this article by Tony Charette. And then coming up is Coming Home by Orchun Franklin. Orchun, oh my gosh. Coming Home. I literally, I was so touched. My heart was touched by this particular article by Orchun, The Coming Home. Yeah, what she wrote about was the harvest time, and she wrote about Oktoberfest. Now, how does Oktoberfest fit in with the mystery school, right? Well, what she did was she shared with us her experience with Oktoberfest and her family, how they celebrate it. They get together, their entire family gets together a weekend, and somewhere between the second week of September to the second week of October, I think it is. It's a whole month is where they celebrate Oktoberfest. And they choose one of those weekends, and as a family, they get together. And what are they doing? They're celebrating their heritage, right? And so sometimes they actually will get dressed in the native wear, the dresses, I can't remember the name for the dresses. Oh, shoot. And the lederhosen for the guys, right? Or vice versa. I've seen women wear lederhosen too. And they enjoy the food, right? The different food of Oktoberfest. And it really is about a celebration. And what Orchard does is she takes that familial experience with Oktoberfest and how does that relate to the celebration of the harvest, right? And with that, then she goes from the harvest and then she weaves in the information coming from Egypt, ancient Egypt. And it's the kind of article that you go, oh my gosh, I didn't think of it that way. Right? And so, and that piece about coming home is really about coming home to yourself. Coming home to yourself. And of course, she has a really sweet, sweet meditation that thank you for that, Zadrindlekin. I was going to say Drundle, but I knew that was not right. And so thank you, Rob. And so anyway, the weaving in that she did with that and with the meditation, if you haven't done one of Orchard's meditations, I highly suggest it. I really do. Now I get to hear each month, I get to hear her meditations. Why? Is because she sends me the raw MP3 for it, and I find the music to go with it. And I put the two together. And so I get to hear her meditation. So I get to go through her meditation. And there is something about Orchard's voice. How many people in the chat have you experienced Orchard's meditation? It's so good. It's so good. Um, yeah. And she has one with almost every one of her articles. So if you enjoy Orchard and what she shares about the ancient mysteries through the Egyptian mysteries, and also her current life, that really is. She shared quite a bit this time around. So I think that's it, isn't it, Rob? Should be. Or do I have one more?
That'd be it.
That be it. Yay. Not sure which one. Michigan, yes. All right. So in Michigan, let's see if I can remember them. There's Hannahville, which is in the upper UP. There's Pohagan, which is in the southern part of the state. There is there's another one too, because Lori DeDecker actually works with them. Because Michigan has like 3 or 4 different bands of the Potawatomi Nation. Yeah. I have to think about that a little bit. I should know it like that, but I don't. There's a town in Michigan too called Dowagian. Is that correct, or is that a county, Dowagian? And Dowagian in the Potawatomi language means I'm from, and then you say the name of the town or the village that you're from. So Dowagian is the word for I'm from, or I live. I live in. Interesting, isn't it? I know, driving through Michigan, the first couple of times, it's like, "Oh my god, that's a Potawatomi word, and that's a Potawatomi word." Very interesting. So here we're at, about 10 minutes before the hour and sharing about the magazine, Star Nation magazine. So what does it mean to be a spiritual seeker? Because I'm looking at everyone that's in the live chat right now, and I can guarantee you that every one of the people that I see in the live chat are spiritual seekers, including myself. I think once we're awake and we realize that we're more than just this physical body, that there's more out there, and we start searching for information, right? We start asking in prayers, what is this about? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? That begins our journey as a spiritual seeker. And I think that we're that way our entire life, our physical life, while we're here. And when we started Star Nations, and we first started with the Blog Talk Radio, right? That was really what that was all about, was to bring information to all of you that are looking for information. And I remember the day that I was sitting at my dining room table. And at the time, I also had my own business, which was Sacred Hoop. And I was looking for a different way to blog because I'd been blogging since 1998. And I was going to say 6, but it was 1998. And I was getting tired of blogging. And so what's another way we can do this that is going to help me stay creative in that creative mode, right? And I had a email message from a good friend of mine, Tammy, and she goes, I got this in my email, and I was reading through it and looking at it, and I don't know why, but you popped into my mind, so I thought I'd share it with you. And what it was an email inviting her to be a part of a new group about digital marketing magazine, creating a digital magazine. And I read through it and I thought, and it was one of those thunderstruck moments, right? I just knew that this was it. And so it didn't take me long. I read it through it. I looked at it and I decided this is something that we need to do. And I was going to do it for Sacred Hoop at the time, and I thought, no, 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 no. We have a much bigger energy field coming through Star Nations, and so that's how the magazine was born. Is that it was meant to be a different way of blogging, but as I created the very first magazine, I knew that it was going to be bigger than that. And so here we are today, 6 years later, and we are certainly bigger than when we started the magazine. We cover so many different countries, and the readership is so eclectic. Um, and all of you that are seekers, and truly seekers of spiritual information, and our tagline that we're your bridge between ancient spiritual information and modern day. Because so many of us will bring to you a certain topic, and that certain topic may be have ancient information into it, much like Orchun does, and Minnie and Polly Joe, just to name a couple, and myself, just to name a couple. And then what we do is, and this is how we use it today, or this is how you could use it for yourself, right? And then once you read the article and you sit with it for a little bit, and then you can start seeing for yourself how this can be used in your own life, right? Today, today in your own life. And it's not about the past necessarily, right? But how it can help your life today, and how you can continue your soul growth. And maybe you're in the middle of a life lesson, or and in the middle of that life lesson, because all of us have been there, and we've gotten the cosmic 2x4, and where do you go with it? What do you do with it? Going through that dark night of the soul stuff, right? That's what we're here for, because we've all been there. We've all been there. And, just because we've been around the spiritual block a few times doesn't mean that we're not still experiencing things, right? That we're still not learning, that we're still working our own soul contract and going through our own life lessons, right? And so we get to do it together. We can do it together. The other thing that we do at First Star Nations, and especially in the magazine, but also with the live stream shows, is that I call it walking the red road together. Ed Langdon interviewed me 2 weeks ago on his show because he wanted to share more about that red road experience, right? And so, what is it, and what are we doing on it, and that sort of thing. But for me, walking the red road means that we're taking our wisdom, what we learned from our life lessons, and through the application of what we learned is how we build our wisdom. And when we take our wisdom and we start applying it and sharing it, that's walking the red road, because we take that to our community so we can be helpful, right, in service to. And so that, for me, that's walking the red road. And I get to do that every month with the contributing writers for Star Nations magazine. And I get to do it almost every day with the live stream show hosts here at Star Nations, right? And my executive team. That's what we're doing. We're taking the information, the wisdom that we've learned, we're applying it, coming it through our gifts, and we're bringing it to you. That's what makes it so much fun and makes it energizing rather than energy depleting, right? So, as an example, when I started the show tonight, in fact, Paul was kind of worried about me. He goes, "Gosh, you look so tired. Are you going to be able to do this?" And because I've been, when you're in a lot of pain, it really zaps your physical energy, right? You're fatigued. And I said, "Yeah, I can do this. I want to do this. I miss them." And so we get started, and I feel great. I do. I feel so much more energy right now than when I started. And you wonder, how can that even be? It's because I get to use my gifts and I get to share it with you all. And so that is just a little sample, a little sample of what it means to walk the red road. And when you get your own copy of Star Nations magazine and you'd like to contact me and let me know how whether it was helpful to you, or even if it wasn't helpful to you, I'd still like to know, right? So you can always get a hold of me. I love hearing about people's stories. And the contributing writers are always asking me, have I heard anything about how well people are liking the articles? And I can tell them that they do, but to give them the actual compliment is, it goes so much further, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. So, Rob, do we have any last comments from our audience? Hi, Deanna. She says, are there some from Canada too? My ancestry, Potawatomi. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely they are. Sault Ste. Marie area, and there's two bands that are up in Canada. Yeah, it's interesting, Deanna, is that there was a time in our history that there were no borders per se. There was hunting territory, right? That was shared sometimes, and many times it was. But there was no borders, and so it wasn't until after the borders were created that we had, and it separated families, literally clans, because now we have some that are north in Canada. We have a whole bunch in the upper Midwest, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Potawatomi Nation. We also have those of us that were removed from our ancestral homes to reservations out west. And so that's where my band comes in. My band is in Kansas. And so there's two bands in Kansas. There's the Prairie Band and Citizen Band. And so now we're kind of spread out, right? But yeah, there are a couple bands in Canada as well for the Potawatomi Nation. Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? I like talking about it too. So thanks for asking that, Deanna. And thank you for being here tonight with us. I'm just looking, making sure I didn't forget anything. Rob already put up where you can purchase the magazine if you'd like to test it out. And then we got a lot of people in the audience that actually get the magazine on a monthly basis too. And thank you all for that, by the way. Thank you so much for getting the magazine. We do appreciate it, and hope you can enjoy it. Thank you, Rob, for putting it back up. And also to let you know that in the digital magazine and also the PDF version, the links, many of the articles have videos that are embedded into the article. For instance, mine has the recorded show about the rookie elder is embedded into it. We also have audio clips such as Orchard's guided meditation that's embedded into her article. And so when you click on them, when you're in the digital format, it'll take you to where it's at. When you're done, it'll take you back to the magazine. Okay. In the PDF version, if you're looking at it from your laptop or even from your phone or your tablet, same thing, just click on the link and it'll take you to the video or to the audio. Now, if you're looking at it in the print, that's a little different. There's QR codes that you can use your phone or your tablet to take the QR codes, and the code will take you to the video or to the audio. Right? So you can still get there, or you can do it the old-fashioned way. And what's that? That is, type it into your browser, the link, and it will take you there. That's a little bit more work, but that's still workable. Yeah, from the print magazine. So, I so enjoy being with you for Communications from Home and sharing with you our monthly spiritual magazine, and highlighting some of the articles for you, the titles that appear on the cover, and sharing with you about the contributing writers and a little bit about the behind the scenes and what goes on when we create the magazine. And so thank you so much for being here with us. Those of you that joined us through Facebook, thank you so much. Those through YouTube, thank you for being here. And if you're watching this in the recorded version, thank you so much for making the time in your day or evening to watch the recorded show. We do appreciate it. And thank you, Rob, for producing. Yay. Love it, because I get to just be here and do what I do best rather than trying to figure out the technological piece of it. All right. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you back here next week for Communications from Home. Bamamina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.